Norman Powell is one of the most underrated players in the NBA. If you watch my channel, you know recently I did a video talking about some of the most underrated players in the NBA. But I realized I had left someone off the list, and that was Norman Powell, because he is one of the most underrated players in the NBA, and let's talk about why. Because the Clippers have had so much talent, Kawhi, Paul George, he's now gone, but Kawhi, Paul George, they had James Harden, which they still have him now, Russell Westbrook, like all these big names. Norman Powell is a very good player, but he got overshadowed by the big names. And I'm not talking about it from a playing standpoint because he always gets the minutes because he is that good. But I'm saying from a, media standpoint or from a just general ranking standpoint, I feel like he gets forgotten about. When Norman Powell comes in the game, watch out because it could be 30 points just like that. And there are times where he gets kind of unstoppable, like he'll go on his own run and he just scores and scores and scores and you just can't do anything about it. We've seen him be big time in the fourth quarter as well. Like he's clutch. He comes up with big buckets late. Like we know that obviously De'Aaron Fox, DeMar DeRozan are known for, being clutch down the stretch. Well, Norman Powell does that too. And having someone like Norman Powell off the bench who can get you a bucket anytime he wants, that is something the Clippers have such a luxury having. Now, the Clippers, of course, have not achieved their goal of winning a championship, and now Paul George is gone, so they need to figure out, how they are going to get that to that championship level, and then Kawhi's health is always a question mark. He is also an NBA champion, because if you forgot, he was on that Raptors team that beat the Warriors in the 2019 finals. If you want to talk about it from a statistics standpoint, he shot a career best 43.5% from three, and that's great. He was taking 5.1 attempts. I looked up just to confirm, just to make sure I had the correct amount of attempts and the numbers correctly. And on 5 attempts, 43.5%. That's very accurate. And I believe he finished 4th in Sixth Man of the Year this year and the year prior, which contradicts, my beginning statement a bit when I was saying how, he doesn't necessarily get the credit from a media standpoint. I still, stand by that statement, but obviously when it comes to the award, people are voting for him. I just think in general, though, when we're not talking about the Sixth Man of the Year, he is super underrated, and seeing what he does on the court and how he impacts winning, I feel like it just doesn't get talked about enough. And one of the things that I actually love about his game, which is not related to, his statistics or anything like that, is that he just seems like he really wants to play. And what I mean by that is when he's out there on the court, he seems like he really wants to win. He wants to play as many minutes as he can. He's obviously trying to get his buckets. He's trying to score, but I just feel like you can tell that he loves basketball and that he really wants to play. There are certain players when you watch them play, it just seems like it's fun for them. It seems like they want to be out there. And it does make a difference, watching it sometimes with different players. It just makes it more fun to watch, more enjoyable, when it looks like the other person is also having fun while dropping 30 on the opponent. Him and Terrence Mann, they don't do exactly the same things. Terrence Mann does different things than Norman Powell, but the two of them are so valuable to this team. They do so many little things that doesn't necessarily, like I said, get talked about or recognized. And I don't know what his percentage is when he drives to the basket, so I don't have the numbers on that, but it does seem like when he gets to the basket, it's easy for him. He's getting a layup, you're not going to stop him, he'll be able to finish around the rim, despite the fact that you're, sending your defenders at him. Again, I don't have the statistics on that, but I feel like he's good at finishing around the rim, just because I've watched him play enough. And we know he can put on a highlight dunk anytime he wants. He's had quite a few really nice highlight dunks in his days. I know the most recent one that a lot of people, think about and probably talk about is the Julius Randle one. That one was crazy. Norman Powell can jump with the best of them. So he just has all the skills and all the tools to be a very good NBA player, which is why he is. But I just feel like sometimes, we just don't recognize enough what we're seeing from him because he's just doing it all the time. So I guess some people just become numb to it. But I would definitely look out for Norman Powell this year because he could definitely have a big season for the Clippers, and maybe he'll win Sixth Man of the Year this year. I haven't thought about who's going to win each award yet, but maybe Norman Powell will be on my list. Again, I haven't thought about it, but maybe.